Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, morning or afternoon or evening or whatever part of the day you find yourself in. Novella Benedetti is my name. I'm your English coach. And today we're going to have a new free English class from our series, How to Move from B1 to a B2 level. So how to take your English that step further, so to reach your upper intermediate level. Last month we completed a unit as to the passive. Today we're going to start with if clauses. Yes, it's a big topic, wide, complicated for a lot of Italians, but don't worry, we're going to break it down. So today we're going to take a closer look at if two of the three out of the three if clauses, and next month we are going to complete the topic. Before we start, one useful piece of information. If you drop by my blog www.novellabenedetti.it, you can find a free downloadable PDF with the grammar exercises as to this lesson. And of course, I provide you also with the keys to the exercises, right? Yes, feel free to download and do the exercises. I think even though they are quite a classic linguistic approach to languages, I have the impression that they really help in forcing you to stop and think about the constructions. So yes, I think they're quite useful. Feel free also to check for new vocabulary you might find in the exercise. That's also an extra one. If you want to follow me, feel free to do so on YouTube if you're watching this video from YouTube, or to subscribe to my monthly newsletter. Every first Friday of the month I send Resfaber, that's the newsletter, and every month I provide free English material only through the newsletter. So you will not find that material inside any video, social media, whatever. Having said all this, let's dig deeper into if clauses. If clauses in English or in any other language, to be fairly honest, are all those clauses that start with if. So what we are expressing, it's the likelihood of something to happen. If da 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 da, then da 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 da. So in English you have mainly three types according to the likelihood of the event to happen. When it comes to the first case, the construction, you have if, present simple, subject, will, the future simple with will, and then the rest of the sentence. So for example, if it rains, present simple, if it rains, be careful to the S, a third person, a lot of Italian mother tongue, forget it. If it rains, I will go to work by car. Okay? If it rains, I will go to work by car. So please notice, if you are an Italian native speaker like I am, we always use future tenses in these kind of clauses. Se pioverà, andrò a lavoro in macchina. Yes, we always use the future. No. In English, every time you have a construction with grammar construction with if always goes with a simple tense. Okay? Can be the present, can be the past, as we're going to take a look at shortly, but it's never a will, a would, or whatever. It's always a simple tense. So, if it rains, I will go to work by car. Now, of course, you can have also the negative construction and the questions. So, if it rains, will you go to work by car? That's the construction. And if you, as you notice, as usual, the only thing you need to be taking care of is the construction of the sentence. So you change the order of the element. If it rains, will you go to work by car? Okay? Be careful, because in Italian, a lot of time in conversation, we just use the intonation and the musicality of our language, and we apply it to English, and we forget about how the sentence should be built. Okay, so please make it sure, change the order. Will you blah, blah, blah. Negative form, of course, as usual, you use not. If it doesn't rain, I will not go to work by car. I will, I don't know, ride my bike maybe, go on fit. So the use of not, and of course, when we speak about not, you can have the contraction or you can have the long form. You decide, it's up to you really. Contractions tend to be perceived as more informal. So yes, if you are in a formal email, maybe you may want to use the long form, okay? So once again, this expresses possibility that is likely to happen. If it rains, I will go to work by car. Present simple, future simple with will. Rains, will go. That's the construction, and that's if clause is number 1. To move on, if clause is number 2. If clause is number 2, they use the simple past and would, basically. So they are the next step in the likelihood. So they express the possibility of something to happen. So it is potentially possible that this event happens, but it's not very likely. To give you an example, we tend to use these if clauses in English classes. The best that normally what you speak about with this grammar rule are questions such as winning the lottery. So of course, in theory, you could win the lottery, provided that you play, which I don't, but yes, that's another story. You could win the lottery, but yes, it's quite difficult. It's not something so certain, right? So normally here the construction, it's if plus past simple, okay? And then you have the second part of the sentence, you have the subject and would plus the verb without to. So I don't know, if I won the lottery, I would travel the world, okay? If I won, past simple, I would travel, would plus infinitive without to. Now, of course, when we speak about present simple, as you surely remember from all other classes, you have regular and irregular verbs. So you need to take care of that. Irregular verb, like in this case, to win, it's irregular. So if I won. If I used a regular verb, I would use ed at the end. If I worked, if I played. And yes, Italian native speakers have a lot of problems in pronouncing properly ed at the end of the words. So the past simple. There is a free online class on this topic too, so I strongly encourage you, if you feel pronunciation is not really your thing, I really encourage you to have a check. And even if it is your thing, it's always good to review and deepen or maybe get new insight on topics that we thought they were fine. Now, having said this, negative and question, the same as before, you use not, and you change the order of the elements. So if you won the lottery, what would you do? What would you do? Okay, so you change the order. If you won the lottery, what would you do? Okay. Negative form, you use not. Again, the contraction rule as to formal informal language, but yes, I wouldn't travel the world if I didn't win the lottery. I wouldn't travel the world if I didn't win the lottery. Or I would not travel the world if I did not win the lottery. Okay? And yes, here you may have noticed that a slightly change. You do not necessarily need to put if at the beginning of the sentence. if can be placed also afterwards. So, like in this case, okay, I would travel the word if I won the lottery, or if I won the lottery, I would travel the word. That's the same. You decide. Yes, easy peasy. Not so much. Doubts question? If I know it's not so easy, or but I say it is easy when you see that on paper, because it's like a math formula, you know, this and this. But yes, when speaking, it's much more complicated because you need to be thinking about what verb tense to use. In any case, if you have some question, feel free to mail me or DM me or write me or what smoke signals, whatever you decide as a tool, I'm always available. To wind up, if clause is number 1, if it rains, I will go to work by car. So if clauses are made by 2 clauses, if and another one, if it rains, consequence, I will go to work by car. I will go to work by car if it rains. I can also change the elements. Present simple, future simple with will. Second type of if clauses, what was it about lottery, right? If I won the lottery, I would travel the word. I would travel the word if I won the lottery. Easy peasy. Negative construction, you use not. Questions, you change the order of the elements. So that's it for our today's class. I hope you find it useful. Of course, as I said at the beginning, feel free to subscribe to my monthly newsletter, Resfaber, to receive monthly free content as to English. On my website, www.novellabenedetti.it, you can find a free downloadable PDF with all the exercises. So to start, you need to start making this construction a bit automatic so that you do not need to think too much about it, okay? So the free downloadable PDF is the first step towards this goal. And yes, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if that's where you're following me from. Take care and see you next time with the third type of if and last, lucky us, type of if clauses.